Thomas Weather.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Hear Rich's forecast hourly on these Blue Water Broadcasting radio stations.
Hey, good morning, everybody. On this Wednesday morning, it is the 9th day of October. Time as I make this is 4:22 a.m. We have the new information from the National Hurricane Center on Milton. I'll tell you all about Milton in just a moment. But some of the verbiage that the Hurricane Center is sending out is amazing, calling it potentially the worst hurricane ever recorded on the west coast of Florida in all of history, and saying that the storm surge is simply unsurvivable. All right, more on Milton in 1 second. The indirect effects for our weather from Milton is we're getting very dry air, very comfortable air, hardly a cloud in the sky, and a really nice pattern. So thank you, Milton, for that. Meanwhile, temperatures will be warm during the day. 86, 87 is warm, but the humidity extremely low, and nights are cooler. In fact, tonight, I think we'll be in the upper 50s, and then the mid 50s tomorrow night, and then probably low 50s by the time we get to dawn on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And by the way, that's only part of the story. We're dry for several days, very comfortable weather for the Alabama National Fair, and cool weather fans, that's only the tip of the iceberg, if you'll excuse the pun. Wait till you see next week. Scroll down to the 10-day forecast on the graph, and you'll see temperatures next week that could be in the 40s at night. That's definitely jacket weather. How about that stuff? Okay, now let's get back to Milton. Milton on the 4 a.m. advisory is a 160 mile per hour Category 5 hurricane with an astounding low pressure of 907 millibars. For geeks in the weather world, 907 is like, really? I mean, wow. So that's quite a big deal. It's about 300 miles southwest of Tampa, Florida, moving off to the northeast now at about 14 miles per hour. Expected landfall, depending on which model you look at, somewhere tonight or late tonight or first thing Thursday morning, somewhere in that time zone, depending on which model you look at. But an encounter with Florida is only hours away, with all kinds of catastrophic effects expected to come ashore with 130 mile an hour winds currently. That would be the beginning of Category 4. But again, winds are only part of the problem. As you know, the big story in a hurricane of this size, and it will be larger when it gets to the Florida coast, and that's a complicating factor. The storm surge probably somewhere at the maximum point, 10 to 15 feet, which is unheard of, an absolute record for the coast of Florida, especially the southwest coast of Florida. Now, the cone has shifted slightly, been nudged slightly southward, which is better news for the Tampa Bay area. It's certainly not going to be a picnic in Tampa Bay, but I mean, if it would have gone north of Tampa Bay, and it's not etched in stone yet, that would be the worst case scenario, like the Tarpon Springs landfall back in 1921 and 1848. Okay, so Florida is about to be ravaged by a historic hurricane, and even when it gets to the east coast of Florida tomorrow morning, it will still be a hurricane. So hurricane warnings cover all of central Florida and all of eastern Florida as well. It's going to have no effect on our weather whatsoever, but we'll keep you up to date as the day goes on the developments on Milton. Certainly we are making hurricane history in a bad way. 14 days, 2 weeks after Helene, which was the deadliest hurricane in the United States in more than 50 years, if you don't count Katrina's 1,800 deaths, which occurred mainly in the New Orleans area. But as you know, Helene had a multi-state effect. And now here we go with another United States hurricane disaster 2 weeks later. All right, this morning, everything is normal, including live on the radio 6 to 9 on Newstalk 93.1. By the way, I will also, again this morning, be on Sirius XM satellite radio doing updates for them again this morning. Normally that's on around, let's say 6:07-ish. Don't take that exactly, but somewhere in the early part of the 6 o'clock hour on Sirius XM satellite radio channel 73. And again, I'll be doing one again tomorrow morning as well. What else to tell you except I'll be standing here tomorrow morning with the latest update in the 4 o'clock hour. This is the forecast discussion. If you're watching on YouTube, there's instructions on how to get to our blog, and I'm very proud of today's blog. It's got all kinds of great graphics and information. It'll tell you how to get there on our website, on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on our weather app. And your forecast, whenever you want it, across dial on 8 radio stations to Blue Water family of stations. Hurricane history. Pray for the people in Florida. I'll see you later.
Rich Thomas Weather.